Good evening. Merry Christmas. And welcome to the December 11th, 2025 meeting of the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners. If you would stand with us, please. Our Commission Chaplain, Commissioner Mel McMurray, will lead us in our prayer and our pledge. Commissioner McMurray.
If you would, please bow your heads. Let us pray. Most gracious and all-wise God, we stand this evening to give you thanks and glory. It's because of you that we have more blessings than we receive. It's because of you that we and so many others are healed and will continue to be healed by your stripes. We thank you, Lord, for your grace and your mercy. For we know that you didn't say maybe, but you said surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives. Let us look back over these last few days of December and let us testify to the blessings that you have been made towards us. Every time we turn around, you keep on blessing us, and we want to say thank you. As we approach this Christmas moment, let us be reminded that Jesus is the reason for the season. And because that he is the reason, let us never sit or act so high that we look down on others based off one's current circumstance, because we never know that we could become what we mock. So Lord, be with those that are less fortunate, that may not be able to receive or provide for their loved ones during this season. As we close out this year, we thank you for protecting us from dangers seen and unseen. And if it's your will to allow us to see 26, we want to tell you thank you in advance. Whether it's been up or down for some, you're still a good God to us all. And we could not have made it this year without you. We thank you for our first responders, our military, and all those that protect and serve us every single day. As leaders in this county, thank you for allowing us to lead your people during the easy and tough times. Let us always put the people over our own self-interest and agendas. Continue to shower down your blessings on our cities, Rutherford County, and the state of Tennessee, and the great United States of America. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Three white stars on a field of blue, God keeping strong and ever true. It is with pride and love that we salute the flag of Tennessee.
Thank you. You may be seated. This time, I'll call on our Rutherford County Clerk, Lisa Crowell, to call the roll. Lisa, please.
Commissioner Oliver.
Present.
Commissioner Piercy.
Here.
Commissioner Hall.
Here.
Commissioner P.
Here.
Commissioner Davison.
Here.
Commissioner Beverly. Commissioner Cush.
Present.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner James.
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Boyd.
Here.
Commissioner Paul Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Irvin. Here. Commissioner Harris. Here. Commissioner Dodd. Here. Chairman Phillips.
Present.
Commissioner McAdoo. Here. Commissioner McMurray.
Here.
Commissioner Gooch.
Here.
Commissioner Serena.
Yeah.
We have a quorum, 20 present.
Thank you, Lisa. Item D, the reading and approval of our November 13th meeting minutes. Call on our Chairman Pro Tem, Trey Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. I have read those minutes. They are in order. My motion is to dispense with the reading and approve them as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of our November meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Item E, Proclamation of Honor for Pastor Terrance O. Lyons. I'll call on our Director for the Juvenile Detention Center, Ms. Lynn Duke. Understand there's a number of family members that are here, and every one of them that are here, would you please come forward, please? And friends that are like family, y'all come forward too. Lynn, you can give that to whoever that needs to go to.
Come on up here. You can tell that Terry was a loved man. So I'm going to do my very best to get through with this. This is in memory of the chaplain for the Juvenile Detention Center. I'm going to read the resolution. So, resolution of honor presented in loving memory of Pastor Terrance O. Lyons. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Whereas God, in his divine wisdom and grace, has called his faithful servant, Pastor Terrance O. Lyon, or as we affectionately called him, Pastor T, from labor to reward after a lifetime dedicated to the service of the Lord, his church, his family, his community, and the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center. And whereas Pastor T remains steadfast in faith, unmovable in conviction, and abounding in the work of the ministry, serving with joy, excellence, and passion, touching countless lives through love, compassion, and truth, faithfully ministering to both youth and staff alike at the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center. And whereas Pastor T knew that true service measured faithfulness, not fame, obedience, not outcome, every sermon preached, every baptism performed, every prayer offered, and every act of compassion sown in love carried kingdom weight that continues to live on through transformed lives, enduring lessons, and a legacy that uplifts the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center and glorifies God. And whereas we, the county mayor, the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center Board of Commissioners, and the staff and youth of the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center do hereby honor and celebrate the life, legacy, and labor of Pastor Terrance O. Lyons. We affirm that his labor was not in vain in the Lord. His words still inspire, his example still leads, and his mission, his ministry continues to bear fruit. Therefore, be it proclaimed to the beloved family of Pastor Terrance O. Lyons, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for sharing him with us. His life was a living sermon, preached through service, sealed in love, and finished in faith. May this proclamation stand as a lasting testimony that his work is not forgotten, his witness not lost, and his reward now eternal. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Joe Carr, Mayor of Rutherford County, do hereby extend my deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathy to the family of Pastor Terrance O. Lyons. May the years ahead continually remind you of his purposeful, compassionate, and faithful service, and of the lasting impact he made on the lives of those within Rutherford County and the Juvenile Detention Center. His legacy of dedication, mentorship, and spiritual guidance will continue to inspire all who are blessed by his presence. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the county to be affixed this 11th day of December in the year of 2025.
Commissioners, we have multiple motions and seconds to approve this proclamation. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Mr. Lyon, on behalf of the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Oversight Board, the Rutherford County Commission, the Rutherford County government, and the great people of this county, please receive this token of testament in your father's legacy as a small token of our appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Item F on our agenda is public comments. Let me go ahead and tell you we've had more than the allotted time to sign up. We have 30 minutes set aside for public comments. We've had 13 people to sign up. It will be my intent to give everyone the opportunity to speak, and I'd ask that you hold your comments to 2.5 minutes, if you would, please. First on the list is Ashton Flores. Topic is ICE. Next, after Ms. Flores, is Pamela Jones. If you would, please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
1 minute. Hello again. I'm Pamela Jones. I live in District 20 at 3833 Manson Pike. For the past 2 months, I've been coming here along with other concerned constituents of Rutherford County, very explicitly expressing my fear and discontent with ICE's illegal actions across the county, or the country rather, specifically with the existence of the 287G agreement, as well as the circumstances of how it even came to be, and how we all continue to be utterly shamelessly lied to directly to our faces by the corrupt Sheriff Fitzhugh and his office. And yet I'm just so saddened to hear certain commissioners apparently don't appreciate having to hear about this every month. If only I had considered how much it would inconvenience you all to ask you to do your jobs, I may have considered, the pain it would cause. Because let's also be clear, if it isn't the job of my local county government to take up issues with the county sheriff, whose job exactly would it be? Would it be mine? Am I meant to confront Sheriff Fitzhugh personally? Oh, really? Okay. Because based off of all of my local government research, it is without a doubt the people in this room who are the appropriate government body to address such a thing. So as many condolences as I give you for the bad bologna sandwich you had 50 years ago, Anthony Johnson, I'm afraid it doesn't absolve you of the duties of your office. So perhaps if you consider it to be beyond your ability, you don't have to be here, along with everyone else who feels similarly. Perhaps most of you are under the asinine impression that all you are here to do is yuck it up with each other, rubber stamp some documents with your friends, scroll on your phones, and pretend you can't hear me like petulant 10-year-olds with fingers in your ears, but I'm afraid I'm going to continue to disillusion you all of that asinine belief. The fact that any of you have the gall to bemoan for fear of your own safety while you passively sign off on masked goons chasing families in the streets? Pathetic, I think. How dare you bow your heads? and pretend to pray to an immigrant being chased by a violent government. You should be ashamed. You bring shame on not only this country, this county, but your very faith. Please do.
Order. Order.
And you're going to high cut up here. You live in the best country for people who want diversity and inclusion and worship whatever God is talking.
Order.
This is
Order.
I'm sorry, Chairman, but this is ridiculous. We have to put up with people.
Really?
It's not my job to put up with people.
I believe my time was interrupted. I believe my time was interrupted.
Order. Thank you. Next up is Amanda Hernandez.
At 6 o'clock this morning, a man stopping to get some breakfast on his way to work at a local gas station. My name is Amanda Hernandez, and I live in Smyrna. I'm a resident of this county. You don't need my full address. So then why didn't the person before me have to give it?
She was supposed to. If you would, she did. Name and address, please. It's according to our rules. Please.
I've already been followed home before.
Name and address, please.
But they don't want to go their own address. This is what we have to put.
Name and address, please.
I am not giving my address for more people to follow me home.
Next is Josh Walker. Topic is the library board. Name and address, please, Mr. Walker.
My name is Josh Walker. I live at 826 Aztec Drive in Murfreesboro. I'll go ahead and say I concur with all the stuff on 287G, but I'm going to talk about the library board. There's an issue of great concern with our library board. The chairman of the board has been credibly accused of multiple violations of library policy and potentially of Tennessee state law. He unilaterally contacted an activist organization for legal representation of the library board, which is a violation of the library bylaws, Article 2, Section 3, which states that no member shall take independent action on behalf of the board without board approval. He's been accused of seeking access to patron library records, which are protected under Tennessee state law and Tennessee 10.8.102. That he's even going into the free speech violations, which made him seek legal representation in the first place. The legal counsel he invited is an activist organization that wants us to break the law so they can use the case to try and change the precedent law. The organization's letter clearly states that while their services are free, the client, which is the Rutherford County Library System in this case, is responsible for any fines, fees, or costs assessed against the client for the client's misconduct, which would be our misconduct, the library board's. In this case, it's violating the free speech protections. This company is not neutral legal representation. These actions expose the library and the county to large potential costs. Murfreesboro City lost a lawsuit for violating the free speech rights of Murfreesboro Pride. The plaintiff was awarded $750,000 the taxpayers had to pay, and the city council and multiple officials were included personally on that lawsuit. This is not a matter of if they're sued for this, it is a matter of when. For these ethical violations of potential criminal activity of Mr. Cody York, I request the council immediately make a motion to remove him from the library board. This will help reduce the exposure to lawsuits and sends a message to the other members of the board that dereliction of their fiduciary duty is an unacceptable behavior. The purpose of the board is to manage the big picture administration of the library system, not to fight ideological battles, especially ones that could potentially cost our city and our taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars. Thank you for your time, and please fire Cody York.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Next is Kelly Hill. Topic is library board/ethics. Name and address, please. Thank you, Ms. Hill.
Hi, my name is Kelly Hill. I live in Joshua James District. I also don't understand why I need to share my address, as I've spoken to this body before without sharing my address. But my address is 1109 Appian Way. I believe Joshua has come to my neighborhood and spoken with me in my neighborhood multiple times. So again, not sure why I need to share my address. Just wanted to share that. It is a valid concern. I am a parent of a toddler in Rutherford County. I personally read many books under consideration for removal by the library board and some which have already been removed. Some of the books targeted for removal include materials which teach children accurate anatomical terms and body boundaries. When we move these books from the library, we rob children and vocabulary, we rob children and youth of the vocabulary needed to communicate with their parents and physicians and promote the very silent that predators depend upon. You may have heard the story of a child who tried to tell their parents that she was being molested, but she called her vagina a cookie so they could not understand her. Without proper vocabulary, she could not communicate the danger she faced. Research is clear on child abuse. Children who can accurately name body parts and understand body boundaries are more likely to recognize inappropriate behavior and report it early. Books that provide this language are protective tools and not threats. Some claim these books promote gender ideology or confuse children. They don't. These books validate children who feel different and build empathy and give families language for conversations that are already happening, whether whispered behind closed doors or on internet chat rooms. My 4-year-old son insists that he's not a boy or a girl, but a kitty cat, like many other toddlers that you probably know, who have claimed that they are puppies or dinosaurs. He's exploring identity through play. When we affirm these explorations, we build trust. That same trust is what brings them to us with questions instead of a schoolyard bully or strangers on the internet. Predators don't operate through library shelves. They operate through secrecy, shame, and children's lack of knowledge. The best protection that we can give our children is open communication and accurate information and the confidence to speak up when something is wrong and the promise that we will believe them. Books serve as bridges, providing starting points that support families in having these conversations, and when we remove these resources from the library, we leave families isolated. Thank you.
Next is Jacob Joan. Topic is 287G. Name and address, please.
My name is Jacob Jones. I live at 3833 Manson Pike. I want to start with a basic fact. The American immigration system is broken, intentionally so. The system is intentionally obtuse and opaque. It creates a gray and outright illegal labor market for the benefit of employers in agriculture, hospitality, construction, and many others. It gives them workers that cannot negotiate their wages, have full protection of the U.S. legal system. It gives them workers they have complete power over. The system is unjust and desperately needs reform. In recent times, however, the political right in the United States has decided that this system presents an existential crisis. They've decided that in order to defend the Constitution, they must suspend constitutional rights. They've decided that to defend the law, they must be allowed to act lawlessly. Because this isn't about the law. Otherwise, the people who are the employers of these migrants would be thrown in jail as well for violating health and safety laws, U.S. labor laws, and laws against human trafficking. But they aren't, because this isn't about that. It's about an exercise of power, the power of a dominant group that fears being replaced. The people in this country that do all of the work that are being beaten upon by the state are black and brown and not able to speak English. This is a national political project of a movement that has no credible answers for the problems facing this country and is looking for scapegoats. Because to a man with a hammer, everything is a nail. By signing the 287G agreement, the Sheriff's Department is not simply following and enforcing national immigration laws. It's not just honoring existing agreements between it and the federal government. Rutherford County is functionally raising its hand and volunteering to give our resources and deputize our Sheriff's Department in this outwardly racist and violent national political project. It does nothing to protect the interests and safety of residents of Rutherford County. It shows that the county is more interested in posturing to a dying white supremacist political order. It opens the county up to expensive litigation and unlawful search and seizures, bodily harm, and property damage. It sows distrust and racial animosity in this country and in this county that will be here long after this administration and this county commission is gone. As a resident of Rutherford County, this disgusts me, as it should anyone who believes in equal protection and equality under the law. 287G is a stain on every participating law enforcement agency in the country, and I ask that this commission demand that the sheriff's office immediately be removed from it. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Next is Violet Walther. Topic is 287G. The name and address, please, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Violet Walther. I live at 3405 Meadow Hill Drive. Thank you, Chairman and Board, for the time. You've seen me since August, and I've spoken since September. My statement will remain the same. The 287G deal is unethical for the immigrants in our community, and the adoption of this deal was shady. Sheriff Mike Fitzhugh, who is not here today, signed onto it August 8th. Then, on August 25th, he addressed us and the board and lied about ever signing it in the first place. At that same board meeting on August 25th, the sheriff and another officer informed the board that the jail is overpopulated. Citing on to the 287G deal as a way to combat this, I find utterly disgusting. Fitzhugh has the option to exit the deal at any time, and yet he remains silent, and he's riding out the rest of his term until he retires. All while profiting off the stolen rights of our community members. Fitzhugh, you are complicit in these transgressions against our immigrant neighbors, and we are all calling on you to remove Rutherford County from 287G deal now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jeffrey Wigner. Name and address, please, Jeff.
Yes, sir. Good evening, County Commission. My name is Jeffrey Wegner. I live at 553 Agri Park Drive here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I wanted to start off by thanking you guys for the time tonight. And my topic is going to be on the library board as well. Coming on February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, the library board is going to undertake reviewing 2,000 books at once in order to do a broad sweeping ban of all of these books. Now, I know what you guys might think is that we can trust these folks to do the job, as y'all, many of them have been appointed by y'all. Unfortunately, these people have been using their position by exploiting the minimum amount of power to the fullest extent. They're using this for their political ideology to force it upon the residents of Rutherford County. Just on the topic of book bans, I don't know if the commission knows, but there's a policy within the library board that children have to be within 6 feet of their parents. So by completely removing these books from the shelves, these parents are being robbed of decisions that they can make for their own children. And it's not like removing these books from the shelves removes the books from history, removes the books from the internet. People can still access these books. Let's provide access to equal information across the board. We don't have to provide only access to information that either this commission or the library board agrees with. We can have equal opportunity for information. Finally, I want to end here with the accusations levied against Cody York by our Director of Libraries. I'm sure many of you all have read the news and have seen some of this, but I just wanted to bring it to this commission in case anyone hadn't heard of it or any people in the audience hadn't heard of it. Cody York was partnering with the ACLJ before getting board approval, which is a violation of board policy. He was also asking for private information of patrons, including their zip codes, their library card numbers, and much more information that would violate their privacy rights. Finally, he was also asking the director to waive fees on his personal books that he checked out in order to remove those books from the collection, also not acceptable. And all of this took place while the library board director was on probation, so she had to act under duress of threat of losing her job. Don't take my word for it, though. Please go watch the recording, go listen to it. I think it's very important that you guys understand the weight of this stuff. And I'd also like to end with, like 287G, this is an optional agreement. We can pull out at any time. So if you guys would be interested in supporting equality, you can pull out of this agreement and fire Cody York as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Will Lehue. This topic is 287G.
Thank y'all for giving me the time to speak. My name is Will Lehue. I live at 2455 Oak Hill Drive. I'm here tonight to talk about this issue because some people that I respect asked me to give my perspective. My perspective may be a little different from others you've heard tonight, as I spent a decade and a half as a deputy in this county. I served in several departments, including booking, patrol officer, training officer in both. I was responsible for coordinating the holds for ICE and things like that. This was back in the Obama era, so it's a little different time. Now, my opinion on the matter, which you can disagree, and that's fine, is that what is happening nationally in this country is a gross violation of the Fourth Amendment. It just is. And that is something that I spent a decade and a half of my life serving to protect. And it bothers me personally when the county and the department that I served has entered into agreement with an agency that is, in my opinion, clearly violating. Now, not a single person in this room can influence what happens nationally, and I understand that. But each one of you has a duty to your constituents. You may not agree, you may not even like them, but you need to listen, and I implore you to do better. If you don't like listening to it here, have a town hall. Have them speak to you where they are. Talk to them. Don't push them away. Pull the temperature down and listen. That's what you were elected to do. Now, as far as our future with 287G, I have a unique perspective, and I understand that what has happened on paper from a departmental fiscal perspective is a no-brainer. The department got a large sum of money for the feds in exchange for tweaking a small procedural issue, and everybody went about their day. But I think the response that you guys are seeing month after month indicates that maybe finances aren't all that people are worried about. So just consider it, think about the people who put you here, and understand the liability that when the political tide turns, I believe there will be a reckoning for the people who committed and who supported unconstitutional actions.
Next is Jason Bennett. This topic is adopting a county code of conduct. Mr. Bennett. Next is Matt Fee. This topic is ethics.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Matt Fee. I live at 1101 Winding Branch Drive in Christiana, Tennessee. I'll say it loud for everyone to hear. I sure have been hearing a lot about ethics lately, especially as it comes to what seems to be the never-ending saga between the mayor and the property assessor. But I think this county is losing its ethical and moral compass in other dramatically more important ways. Let's take the sheriff, for example. A few months ago, he signed an agreement with ICE. Although he claims nothing changed, in reality, everything has changed. There's never been an agreement like this before, and now ICE is terrorizing communities all over the country. Unidentified agents are able to harass and intimidate anyone they want simply based on the color of their skin, and it can have a chilling effect even on people that are here legally. There are so many videos of agents just hopping out of their unmarked cars, wearing their masks and not identifying themselves, ruthlessly arresting anyone they want. Just because we don't see it every day on our streets does not mean our neighbors aren't living with fear. That fear alone is an ethical failure. If ethics and morals are so important, then why should we associate with an entity that is so unethical and immoral? Ethics really should matter. Take the library board as another example. Last week, the new director, Luann James, accused the chairman, Cody York, who's a county employee, by the way, of misconduct. He used intimidation tactics to make her remove books that he disapproved of, even after the board had voted to keep them. By using his position of authority and leveraging her probationary status as an employee, this alone constitutes misconduct as defined in TCA 39-16-402. He broke the law. Not only this, but he also requested private information of library card holders, such as names, addresses, number of children in a household, and what items they are checking out, which is an astounding breach of privacy and public trust that violates both library policy and another state law, TCA 10-8-102. The fact that the library director took the bold step and revealed these misconducts in the middle of a public meeting truly is one of the bravest things I've ever seen. And if these actions by Mr. York not only put the library system but the county at financial risk of damages, if ethics truly are important, I call on this body to launch an immediate independent investigation on the actions of Mr. York. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Next is Tatiana Silvas. Topic is 287G. Did I do okay?
And thank you so much for getting my name right. I appreciate it. Good evening, commissioners. I hope you guys are doing okay tonight. My name is Tatiana Silvas. I live at 715 North Spring Street. I'm here tonight because there have been two recent incidents that reveal a very disturbing pattern in our local government, specifically a breakdown of ethical governance and public accountability. First of all, as Matt Fee spoke about, our library crisis. When a library director files multiple ethical complaints and violations against board members, not one, but two board members, for circumventing established protocols, forcing book removals, requesting private patron information, that's not just a library issue, it's a violation of public trust and established procedures that protect our community. Second, the 287G contract. Sheriff Fitzhugh publicly stated he would not sign this agreement, yet he did so despite community input to the contrary. When Commissioner Johnson suggests that concerned citizens speaking monthly is problematic, and there are discussions about limiting public access to these meetings, we're seeing a very dangerous dismissal of civic engagement. I'm personally very concerned. What's the common denominator? Local officials are operating outside established processes, ignoring public input, and showing hostility towards the very accountability that democracy requires. I'm not here to relitigate specific policies. I'm here because of how decisions are made are just as important as what decisions are made. When officials bypass protocols, they ignore public commitments, view participation by citizens as an inconvenience to them, they undermine the foundation of the representative government that we have here today. Therefore, I stand before you today to make two demands. Number one, he's not here tonight, but I'll tell him anyways. Sheriff Fitzhugh, cancel the 287G contract. And number two, county commissioners, please push for a full, impartial investigation of our library board chair, Cody York. Our community deserves leaders who follow established procedures, who honor their public commitments, and welcome, not fear, engaged citizens. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And last is Anna Karina DeWitt. Topic is 287G.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anna Karina Lorenzana DeWitt. I live at 1103 Cason Lane. I know we've ruffled some feathers tonight, and as Johnson brought up at the last meeting, I know you've all heard the same thing, so I'd like to start with a story this time. I had a pleasure of speaking to one of the residents of Murfreesboro today. He's an elderly man who is in charge of Beyond Aquatics. One of his family members is this beautiful 15-year-old girl. Her name is Nicole. She's in high school. She's very studious, very hardworking, gets excellent grades. She's a social butterfly, and at this time of her life, she should really be enjoying all there is to offer from her youth and from her time in high school. But there's only one problem, and it's that Nicole is Mexican. Her family is Mexican. American citizens, yes, but Mexican. Nicole, in particular, is a few shades darker than you and me. And so, having seen all the things that she sees on the news, she has seen how ICE agents have terrorized American citizens who just look illegal. She has seen how they have terrorized Somali immigrants. She has seen how they have terrorized indigenous people who live here. She has seen how they have terrorized other Mexicans, and she is afraid. She is afraid to go out. She is afraid to drive her car. She's afraid to have fun. She is afraid to live. And I see my pain reflected in her, because I was afraid too. I still am. I haven't stopped being afraid. I've had stress nightmares for months. I can't sleep. There's deep eye bags on my face. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I have to live in fear. I don't understand why it has to be me, why it has to be my family, what sin I've committed, what I've done wrong. So in interest of being able to live a normal life, I really ask you all to push for an end to this 287G contract. It's really not making the change you all think it is. It's hurting the people that you love. It's hurting the people that you're supposed to serve. It's hurting the people who trust you. We're all just living in fear. Please, help me, help Nicole stop living in fear. Please. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you for your participation in public comments. Commissioners, now would be the time to make a comment if you would like. Seeing nothing, we'll move on. Elections and confirmations, item G, Vice Chair of Steering, Pettis Reed. You want to go to public hearings? Pettis, we'll go to public hearings, okay?
Commissioners, we're ready for elections and confirmations. Beginning with item 1, elect notaries. Listing of notaries may be found in your iPad. Mr. Chairman, I move to confirm the election of these individuals as Rutherford County notaries.
We have a motion and a second to elect the list of notaries. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 2, steering would like to confirm Martin Linkins as Senior Judicial Commissioner. This is a 4-year term. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to confirm Mr. Linkins as a Senior Judicial Commissioner. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 3, steering would like to confirm the reappointment of Francis Mosby and Robert Asbury for the Rutherford County Correctional Works Center Board. This is a 2-year term, January 2026 to January 2028. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to reappoint Mr. Mosby and Mr. Asbury for the Correctional Works Center Board. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 4, steering wishes to announce one vacancy on the Codes Enforcement Adjustment and Appeals Board. This will be a 5-year term, November 2025 until November 2030. Number 5, steering also would like to announce 2 vacancies on the Conservation Board. This will be for 5-year terms beginning February 2026 until February 2031. Item 6, we also wish to announce 6 vacancies on the Public Building Authority, or the PBA. These will be for 6-year terms, January 2026 to January 2031. These are appointed by the mayor. Item 7, and steering would like to announce a vacancy on the Regional Planning Commission to fill a retiring member's seat, Mr. Jim Avawater. Term expires August 2026. This is a mayor appointment. Mr. Chairman, this concludes the business of elections and confirmations.
Thank you, Chairman Reed. Just a quick note, Jim Averwater, I've served with Mr. Averwater for more years than I would, I just hesitate to count them. It's been a long term. Jim has been an asset to the Planning Commission and also to this county. Thank you for your service, Jim.
Mr. Chairman.
Probably should, I'm sorry, Commissioner Oliver.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, can you tell citizens specifically where they can go and find out information about the boards, what the criterion is, and what the process is? The only thing on the website is the application, but there's no explanation of what each board does.
Should be able to get that explanation through the mayor's office. If it's not posted online, some of it probably isn't, but they should be able to get all the information they want at the mayor's office.
So they have to specifically call, it's not available publicly on the website anywhere?
Some of it is, but a lot of it probably is not.
What would we have to do to make that be, because I know Ms. Stevenson is looking at doing an electronic application and things of that nature relative to the board. So what would we need to do to get that board information available online as well?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer to it, but we will find out the answer for you.
Thank you.
We'll look into it. It's a good point. Thank you. And I see Ms. Stevenson shaking her head, so that'll be an assignment that we'll work on. Thank you. Commissioner Harris.
Commissioner Oliver, we'll address this at the next steering committee. I'll get with Sonia. We'll change whatever we need to do. We'll get with Nick, and we'll try to make this. I believe that information is out there, but I will do everything I can to make it easier for everyone.
See, we're going to go to our public hearings now, and that'll be item J. I'll call on our planning director, Doug DeMasi. Should have done that a little earlier, Doug, but since you made me wait about 3 hours the other night, I'm going to make you wait about 30 minutes.
I deserve that, I guess. Good evening, Commission, members of the public. Doug DeMasi, County Planning Director. We have two items for your consideration tonight, one rezoning and one zoning ordinance amendment. We will discuss the rezoning application first. This is an application by Javier Olvera. This is for property located at 8635 Shelbyville Pike. Property is currently zoned residential low density. They're looking for commercial general zoning. The size of the entire property is about 34 acres. They're looking for about 15 acres of that to be rezoned. The applicant has been storing construction equipment currently on the property, which would consist of concrete forms, other related equipment, along with business vehicles. However, he did not have any zoning approval for that. We did find out about it. We met with the applicant back in September to discuss the situation, discuss possible ways to fix the problem, so to speak. What ended up being discussed was you could either remove everything from the property or he could try to rezone the property, bring it into compliance with county codes, which is what he has decided to do, which is the result of this application. The applicant has submitted a concept plan. It is with your iPads on the agenda packets that I have posted there. This is not a plan development, so it's not binding, but it does give you an idea of what he's looking to do. As I stated, he's looking to zone just a portion of this, about 15 acres. You can see there's a storage area identified on the front of the property with security fencing, and not much detail regarding the rest of the property outside of that, because he's just going to leave that part of it alone. Anything dealing with access to the property is going to have to be approved by TDOT, because Shelbyville Pike is a federal state highway. An engineered site plan would have to be submitted to our office. The applicant is aware of that. Landscape buffering and our performance standards would also apply. The Planning Commission asked for some clarification about the portion of the property being rezoned. We did show that at the meeting. The applicant's representative who was at the meeting described the activity on the property, basically what I described a bit ago, storage of equipment, work vehicles. He also stated the reason being he kind of got a little bit ahead of himself. He had taken on more jobs, which is the reason why the material was there in the first place. During the public hearing, there were a couple of neighbors who spoke on this application who lived off of Polythicket Road. When you look at the map, you can see the property actually extends all the way down to Polythicket. However, that area is not being proposed for rezoning. We made sure to clarify that. There was some follow-up discussion on that as well. Following that discussion, the Planning Commission did recommend approval by a unanimous vote, so I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Demasi? Seeing none, we're ready for our public hearing. This time I'll declare the public hearing open for item REZ 25-027, Javier Oliveira. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. I believe this is Commissioner Beverly's. Mr. Cush.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am a sitting member of the Planning Commission, and on behalf of Jonathan Beverly, I would make a motion to approve with staff comments.
We have a motion and a second to approve rezoning request REZ 25-027. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Mr. Demasi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Well, before you get started, Jonathan Beverly's in Nashville. He was on an assignment, and he is hung up in traffic, if anybody can believe that. He's on his way. He'll be here as soon as he can.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our second item tonight is an ordinance amendment, a couple of small changes to the Rutherford County zoning ordinance. These are to appendices B and C regarding transfer station and trash compaction regulations. These regulations were approved by the County Commission back in August of 2023. These uses are classified as extensive impact facilities. They're allowed by right in the heavy industrial district and by special exception, which means they have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals, in the light industrial and commercial general districts. We felt that since these uses deal primarily with municipal solid waste, we should treat them the same as a sanitary landfill. Sanitary landfills are classified the same, extensive impact facilities, but they're only allowed by special exception in the zones which they are allowed. So what we're proposing is just to make a couple of small changes. In Appendix B, you'll see that there is a footnote, and I've got it on your iPads there. You'll see it says specific uses permitted by special exception only in the marked districts. You'll see landfills, mini warehouses, but then we would add transfer stations / trash compaction. And in Appendix C, which is our land use index, we would just put that bolded and italicized language next to transfer station and trash compaction. Those are the only two changes we're proposing to make. Everything else with these regulations stays the same. The Planning Commission did consider these amendments last month and did vote to approve them by a unanimous vote. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Demasi? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing open for item ORD 25-001. This is amendments to our zoning ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this request, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed.
Chairman, I so move. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve item ORD 25-001. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? That motion to approve carries. Thank you. Mr. Demasi.
Thank you. Just real quick, just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Item H, resolution to approve our consent agenda. Call on our Chairman Pro Tem Trey Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. Before I do that, I would like to apologize for my outburst earlier. I so much appreciated the prayer that we had, and when the speaker blasphemed the Lord, something just moved me to say something. I do apologize. I would also like to add, if I may, to the last speaker, whoever lied to you and convinced you and Nicole that y'all are unsafe in this community, that the police will pick you up, there's a special place in hell for those people. Okay, in the contracts is what's making ICE go to the jail and not into the community. So, anyway, having said all that, I have reviewed the consent agenda and find everything to be fine. Motion to approve as presented.
I have a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye. Whoop, I'm sorry. We'll probably need to go on the board for this, Commissioners. So if you would, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Motion passes. Item K, we're getting into our reports of our standing committees. Item K1, Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee, Chairman Robert P.
Well, we have about 7 items on the agenda. I will try to keep the amount that I have to read as brief as possible. The first resolution has to do with the purchasing or acquisition of the Bank of America building. And I'm going to read the first paragraph and then skip down toward the end of the page. If anyone has any questions, just stop me after I get through reading and we'll answer any questions. Whereas on August 14, 2025, the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners adopted a resolution approving a real estate purchase agreement with MAC 3 Properties, LLC for the purchase of property located at 120 East Main Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, tax map 91NBD, parcel 001.00, consisting of approximately 1.249 acres, and authorizing the county mayor to execute the agreement. And now I'm going to skip down. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that Rutherford County hereby approves an amendment to the agreement. Number 1, reduce the purchase price from $9,200,000 to $8 million. Number 2, increase the earnest money deposit for entering the permitting period from $50,000 to $100,000. Number 3, increase the earnest money deposit for each of the 3 optional permitting periods extension from $50,000 to $100,000. Be it therefore resolved that Rutherford County elects to proceed with the permitting period and approves the funding of an additional earnest money deposit in the amount of $100,000, non-refundable but applicable to the purchase price. Be it therefore resolved that Klein Sweeney Associates, LLC is authorized to proceed to the design phase of the project associated with the property. Be it further resolved that the county mayor is authorized to execute the amendment to the agreement and any other documents necessary to effect this resolution. Resolved this 11th day of December 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Oliver.
That's okay. Why was the purchase price recommended to be decreased?
Why was it reduced?
Yes.
It was negotiated down. For specifics of that, I might refer to Chairman McAdoo. That's his committee. Probably answer that a little better than I could.
I'm going to kind of open this up to our team that's been working on this, our county attorney and our finance director, and Mr. John Harney that's in the audience. If without objection, I'll ask John to come up and maybe he can help answer any questions that you may have. Just want to make sure you get a full picture.
Thank you.
John, would you please come up? Nick, could you kind of start off?
Yeah, no, sure. Leading up to this point, as you all know, in August, you entered into the real estate purchase agreement, and the original price agreed to was $9.2 million. Since that time, the county has done a number of inspections on the property to do their due diligence, everything from the structure of the building to the machinery within inside the building to the roof. And after those were completed, there were certain items that probably need upgrading, and that is now factored in to the purchase price. And so as a result of those, there was a negotiation of the purchase price downward by $1.2 million. So the new purchase price is $8 million. So that's a benefit to the county. And John is here. He can answer that because he's the one that assisted in the negotiations with the seller.
So if it's a benefit to the county, then why is the earnest money being increased?
John?
That was part of the negotiation of this building has probably been inspected and analyzed as much as any property I've been around in a long time. And pretty extensively examined roof, heat and air system, electrical system, plumbing, structurally, everything else. With the amount of work that the studies showed needed to be done, with the approval of the committee, I went back to the owner to negotiate a better price. Now, this is still a contract that if the county doesn't decide at the end of this permitting period, the county can back out and not buy the building. In the meantime, this owner has it off the market, really can't do anything else with the property, be it entertaining any new leases or even extend leases he's got. So in negotiation, a trade for getting $1.2 million off the previous negotiated price to give him some confidence that the county was intentional about trying to move forward on this. Negotiation is to move each deposit up from $50,000 to $100,000 in good faith that the county expects to move forward on it. But as Mr. Christensen can say, we can go all the way through the permitting period and those extensions. And at the end of that, if the county decides not to buy it, then the county can back out of the contract but lose the earnest money that's put down as non-refundable.
So what's the net savings? Because if you went from 9 to 8, but then you're increasing earnest, what's the net savings to the county?
Well, all the earnest money goes to the purchase price. The county would lose that extra deposit if at the end of this, the county decides to not buy the building. But all the additional earnest money being put down goes toward the ultimate purchase price.
And Ms. Oliver, if I may.
So then
Go ahead.
the additional $50,000 is a part of the $8 million that's being recommended. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it would go toward the $8 million purchase price.
Thank you.
Nick, have anything else? Michael? Other questions?
Chairman.
Commissioner Hall?
Hope y'all had a chance to watch the property management meeting. I had a pretty good conversation about it, but I want to hit the high points of that again on what we're voting for tonight. The way I'm looking at it right now, if we buy the property where it sits right now, we're going to pay the highest per square foot ever in a commercial building in this county. I brought one up that's over on West Northfield that's selling for $252 a square foot. If you figure in page 2, 16.9 or 16.697, high end 17.5, you say the middle of that, 17 million divided on 29,000, that's $586.20 a square foot. Across the street, the SunTrust building, or Truist building it was last, it sold 60,000 square feet, so for $87 a square foot, $5.2 million a year ago. I agree that we have a problem at Goldstein, and some of these vital assets that we have for the county needs to be staying next to the square, but I don't know where we need to pay $587. I'm in insurance, so I got in there and did a commercial rater if I was to insure that building over there, and if I put chandeliers in it and gold fixtures, it come to $8.7 million. $8.7 million is $300 a square foot, and I've topped it out, to put it that way. So you're voting tonight to buy that building if it goes through, and we're going to finish it out, and we're going to buy it for $586 a square foot. So I hope y'all watched the meeting the other night to understand that that's a poor shaped building in a great location up here. Northfield's a much better option. It's a Class A business office. It's got twice the parking, but it is not up here on the square. So I'll leave it at that. And if you got any questions, please let me know.
Commissioner McAdoo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a lengthy discussion, as you know, in property management about this building, but sometimes the facts doesn't come out correctly. We're saying this building is going to cost us $17 million. Ooh-wee. It's not going to cost us $17 million. This building is going to cost us $8 million. Now, the renovation and all that we want to do in this building was done by Bart on the high dollar end, just to let you know what we would do if we wanted to bring this building up to 100% condition as a new building. I've been up here a long time, and it's true that we have never, ever went through a piece of property or building as much as we have this building. I'd like to thank the engineer for doing his study, because he done a 300-page, was it, study. They've looked at everything except the pH factor of the dirt, if it was basic or acid. Now, the ones on the committee know that the Goldstein building is in bad shape. The statement that was made that everyone should listen to is that to repair or renovate the Goldstein building is $8 million. Well, we can buy this building for $8 million, and we can move in it, and it would be safer than the Goldstein building. Now, we can keep looking down the road. We're saying go to Northfield or wherever, but we're leaving out traffic. That would be an ongoing factor in the cost of any building off of this square. Now, Mike gave a good summary of it in budget and finance. And we are looking at going into our next phase on this building. We're not signing a final contract that we're going to do $17 million. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. $17 million was the figure that we were looking at on the top end to renovate it 100%. Now, if you want to be practical with it, $8 million to renovate Goldstein, $8 million to buy the Bank of America building and move in it. It was told to us the other night we could move in it and it would be safer. And a lot of you commissioners know, we toured Goldstein twice. It would be safer than the Goldstein building. Now, as far as doing our homework, we did it. Everyone on property management that has went through that, we did our homework. And what we are bringing before you tonight is not to purchase it tonight, it's to move on to the next phase so we can really get some specific figures on renovating that building. I myself looked at all the facts, done a lot of research, and the committee have. Gentlemen, we don't have too much time on Goldstein. I'm just letting you know that now. We do not have too much time, per se, as a safety on Goldstein building. If we wasn't a governmental body, I'm pretty sure the Murphy-Bell Codes would have condemned us several years ago. But let's look at the fact. if we move into the second phase, we are looking at trying to get some specific figures. We keep hearing that, and I hate to hear that 17 million. Oh, it's gonna cost 17 million to get this building, and blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. It's not. We can buy the building tonight for 8 million and move in it. Move in it for 8 million. Renovate Goldstein building, 8 million. So what would be the feasible thing to do? To move on to the next phase, and let's get some specific figures and move on.
Other comments? Once again, we have a motion.
So, quick question.
I'm
So you're
sorry,
saying
Commissioner McMurray.
purchase for $8 million and you move in, there's no renovations or anything to it, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir, the fact was brought up to us the other night at budget that the Bank of America building is a lot safer than the Goldstein building. If we purchase that building, it is feasible that we can move in on the second and third floor of that building right now, as is.
Other questions or comments? Michael, if you could just make a particular comment on some of the reasons and rationale for the downtown space to be more desirable for the county long term.
I think one of the things when we were looking at office space for the county, I think one of the things that's really important is keeping certain offices near each other. For example, the circuit court clerk needs to be where the courts are, right? So when we built the new courthouse, we put the circuit court clerk in the bottom floor and all the courts are on there. So when looking at this, as far as expanding county office space, there's two offices that really must be within walking distance of each other, and that's the finance office and the county trustee's office. But then after that, every department in the county brings money to our offices every day. So we have every morning and throughout the day they're bringing money. And so we were looking at, a new place that was, that was safe and a good place to work in, but another place that was efficient so we didn't have to have couriers and didn't have to have people driving all over the county. And so I think that's one of the reasons that kind of as the group looked that we settled on that building was because we didn't have to get a courier, we didn't have to have people driving, and not just as a time saver, but also as a morale saver. And, people don't want to have to get in their car and drive across and fight traffic to be in an hour just to bring us a deposit that may be $50, and it could be, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It really just depends on the department. So I think that's one of the reasons we kind of settled on that building as far as the central location. The other thing I'll add is as far as the finance office grows and things like that, there's a lot of times commissioners come and meet in the finance office. And so that was another thing we looked at as far as my office meeting with the mayor, meeting with the other constitutional officers of this body. So we were trying to find somewhere also that was close to the legislative body here. And so that building kind of checked all those boxes for us.
Thank you. Other questions or comments?
Chairman.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Piercy.
I would really love to ask Mr. Harney this. He can probably answer it without walking back up to the front. The purchase price has been knocked down to $8 million. I can't find it right off how much it's going to take to renovate the building. My question to Mr. Harney, if the county buys this building, we do full renovation on this building, will this building appraise for that much when it's done, total cost and improvements?
Mr. Piercy, a lot of that depends on how thorough you go through that building. I can tell you this, the building is structurally, that building is a concrete building on piers in bedrock. None of us would build that building today because it would be too expensive. Most Class A buildings around this community are steel buildings. Steel frame buildings, they're not concrete. The estimate that Mr. Klein gave was basically starting over inside that building and completely redoing it. Now, for those of you that have been through the building, half of the downstairs there where Merrill Lynch is Class A nice space today. I wouldn't touch it. The other 2 floors, except for getting the bathrooms opened up, widened, ADA compliant, the other 2 floors you could move into. Now, I believe, just like somebody said here, that $17 million is a wild number to spend on that building to be practical for the county. Until Mark Klein does an extensive set of plans that we can put out there, or the county can put out to bid, I can't tell you, but I think that number that's been thrown out there is real wild. Well, I can tell you, we have looked at building another Class A building recently, and it was going to be without any contractor profit, was going to be in the mid 400s per square foot, not counting the land. Now, appraiser looking at that building is only as good as how much he knows about what's been done to the building to make his evaluation. But if you spent the kind of money that Mr. Klein's put in there, you've got a brand new building that's probably the safest one in this county.
Commissioner Piercy.
Let me rephrase my question. You are an expert in your field by far. If we give $8 million for this building, we spend $17 million on it for full renovation, like Mr. Klein has offered in his presentation. Would you give $25 million for the building? Being in the real estate business. 17 building in all? Would you give the 17?
$17 million building, if I was buying the building, I'm going to be buying it to rent it out. And it's based on income. What this is different from any other building is the location on the downtown. Now, appraiser, I'm not. Been in the business a long time. But if you spend reasonable money on the building, in my mind would be $15 million, not $17 million. If an appraiser evaluates it with full knowledge, it should evaluate for that kind of money.
Thank you.
Other questions? Once again, I'm sorry, Commissioner Reed.
Mr. Chairman, we've talked about the price quite a bit right here, and I think there are individuals in here that have dealt quite a bit with land and real estate and things of that type. And one thing that is often mentioned in that business, in that industry, is location, location, location. And that hasn't really been brought up, I don't think, this evening. But I have to think all the way back to where we're sitting this evening and go back all the way to 1813 when the county seat was located down here in Old Jefferson. Well, we had a problem in Rutherford County. We had a thing called growth. And all the people were living this way rather than everybody going to Old Jefferson. And the citizens of Rutherford County went all the way to Knoxville because that's where the state legislators were located at that time and requested a new county seat. It was granted, and that new county seat was left up to the commissioners, as appointed by the state legislature, to come to Rutherford County and find a center place within the county to establish the county seat. And they were told to find a 60-acre area to place that county seat that was convenient to all the citizens of Rutherford County. And within that, they would place within the center of the courthouse, the jail, and the stocks. And they did so. And they found this spot right here. Well, today we still have the courthouse. We don't have the jail, and we sure don't have the stocks right now. But located within this circle that we still have today from that time when we first established it, we still have so many of the offices located within this central location. And I don't know how many of you ever come up here during the daytime and stand inside this courthouse, and how many people walk inside this courthouse and ask our security officer down here, where is a certain office? They do so. Where's planning? Where's the election office? Where do I go pay this ticket? I've done that. I've seen it right here by working with the museum and such. Well, we could easily move off this square, go somewhere else, and find a less expensive piece of property. But then all of a sudden, you take your citizens moving around this city, which now is a traffic dilemma, trying to get from one place to the other and trying to find it. And I think the fathers of this county had something in mind when they placed this courthouse with a cupola up here where everybody sees it. And this is the place you go to find it. We now have available something that is no longer that you can find up here on this courthouse square as a facility that's being made available to us to do something with, to move those offices, where the people still, since 1813, can still come here and find the offices of their county seat. Now, I guess I'm making an expression here from an old man. An old man that at the end of next year will be coming here looking for the planning office or looking for his election office. Now, I'd like to know that it's still here. So my recommendation is we keep it here, if we can, within the county seat on this square in Rutherford County.
Anyone else? A particular comment. I know some of you are concerned about the price, and I'm understanding of that. Years ago, I learned to make decisions that are in the long-term best interest of Rutherford County. Not immediate, but what's in the long-term best interest of Rutherford County. 20 years from now, what would this decision look like to the citizens of Rutherford County? And that's where I'm basing my decision. What is in the best long-term interest of Rutherford County as to what we do with this building? Any other comments? Once again, we have a motion and a second to approve this resolution to move to phase 2. Commissioners, for this will be on the board. If you would, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes, 1 no.
Motion passes. Thank you. Chairman Pease.
Our next two items we've actually already voted on and approved at our last meeting. However, they have come back to us and asked us to change the resolution. It changes nothing else. There's no more requirements from the county. Basically, we're the funnel that's helping them with this. And I'm going to read part of this resolution. And again, these have both been approved. This is just some wording that they requested. No other changes to the county. Whereas at a meeting on July the 16th, 2025, an inducement resolution was adopted by the Health and Education Facilities Board of Rutherford County, Tennessee, the board preliminary authorizing, subject to the submission of satisfactory implementing documents, the issuance of revenue bonds in one or more series in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $60 million. Financing and acquisition, construction, equipping of one or more student housing facilities on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. And I'm going to stop there. Resolved this 11th day of December 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Commissioner,
I'm sorry, Commissioner Oliver.
what's the new language, sir? You said it changed language. What's the new language from what we already approved?
Just the resolution, the wording of the resolution. Mr. Summers here, if you wish to, or a better explanation, I'd move for us to allow Mr. Bolden. Well, let's let Michael talk first, please.
Commissioner, so we're looking at item B here. My explanation is going to be the same for item B and item C. There's an exhibit, Exhibit A, which is the inducement resolution that you see attached to item B. That inducement resolution was passed by this body. And then the Health and Education Facilities Board's bond counsel wanted us to pass our own resolution, not just their inducement resolution. So that's why tonight you see our resolution that includes their inducement resolution as an exhibit. So there was no change in the actual inducement resolution that the Health and Education Facilities Board passed. They just wanted a resolution from us attaching that as an exhibit. So that's all that happens. And that's going to be the same explanation for this one and the next item.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Other questions? For this will be on the board, Commissioners. If you would, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Motion passes. Chairman P.
Item C, as I mentioned, same as item B, other than the location. So I'm just going to put out the location, the amount on this. This is for the amount of $17,950,000 financing the acquisition, rehabilitation, and equipping of Colony Square Apartments, a multifamily housing facility for low and moderate income citizens located at 500 Rock Springs Road, Smyrna. Resolved this 11th day of December 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor, we'll be on the board again, I guess, Nick. Commissioners, please cast your vote. Pettis.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Item K1C passes.
Item D is a resolution approving the listing removal of the Singer Road, Florence Road property. Whereas Rutherford County previously authorized the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce to list and market the Singer Florence Road property owned by Rutherford County, and whereas Rutherford County wishes to remove the listing of Singer Florence Road property, and therefore be it resolved that the Singer Florence Road property be removed from listing and market for sale. Resolved this 11th day of December 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Discussion. We have a motion and a second to approve item K1D. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Commissioner Peake.
Item E, resolution approving the budget calendar and meeting dates for the fiscal year 2026, 2027. I'm going to call on our Finance Director, Michael. He's got some words to say about some of the dates.
I just want to draw attention to a couple dates because we get this question a lot, and so I'll be glad to email anybody this as well. But on the second to last, or the very last page on the attachment on your iPads, I got a couple questions. Typically, we have our last budget meeting on the last Monday. However, this time it's the second to last Monday on June 22nd at 9 a.m. Because if we did it on the last Monday and something happens it didn't pass, we only have one day to fix it. So, but we have a lot of questions about what departments and when to come, and a lot of interest from different commissioners or citizens. And so I draw your attention to May 12th, 19th, and 21st. And you see we have the departments listed there. And so I just wanted to see if there was any questions, but I wanted to point out those dates specifically. And then also one other date would be our public hearing on June 16th. And please note that that public hearing is always at 7 p.m. historically, so it is different than our regular meeting times of 5:30. But I just wanted to point those out. That last page has some really important dates on it.
Any questions for Michael? I'll go ahead and read this resolution right quick. Hearing none. Be it resolved that the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners at the 2026-27 budget calendar year and schedule be approved, a copy of the same being attached hereto as Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim, with the adoption date for the 2026-27 budget scheduled for June 22nd, 2026 at 9 a.m. Resolved this 11th day of December 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving item K1C, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item F, we saw this the other night in Public Works, and we actually need some money for rental equipment to keep our landfill in compliance. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the Solid Waste Fund be amended, increase the expenditures of $80,000 and a decreased and assigned for public health and welfare $80,000. Resolved this 11th day of December 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, Commissioners, for this will be on the board. If you would, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Item K1F passes.
Item G, and this is a resolution approving the recycling rebate grant award and related budget amendments for the Solid Waste Department. Whereas Rutherford County Solid Waste Department previously applied for a grant with the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation in October 2025 to fund reductions in solid waste disposal at the landfill. And whereas the state of Tennessee has awarded the grant with an amendment to the original contract to increase the grant award by $40,453.72 to increase the total award to $90,426.59. Whereas the grant and amendments will require total liability of the state of Tennessee of $90,426.59 $90,426.59, and the total funding matching funds of $90,426.59. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the county mayor and all other appropriate officials of Rutherford County, Tennessee be and are hereby authorized to execute for, on behalf of Rutherford County, the original contract and amendment to the contract. A copy of the same being attached hereto is Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim, to accept the original contract and amendment for the total grand sum and liability of the state of Tennessee of $90,426.59 respectively. Be it further resolved that the solid waste fund be amended to follow and recognize the revenue, appropriate the county match, and appropriate the expenditures. Resolve this 11th day of December 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Commissioner Johnson, do we have this? Discussion. For this, commissioners, we will also be on the board. If you would, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Item K1G passes. Chairman P.
That concludes our business. I want to announce that our next meeting is actually December the 16th, Tuesday, December the 16th. It's a joint meeting with the Rutherford County Board of Education, our Health and Education Board, and the Budget Committee. And that'll be, I think, Chairman Dodd, 5:30 on the 16th. Our next regular meeting is January the 8th. And before I leave, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman P. Item K2, Public Safety Committee, Chairman Pettis Reed.
Mr. Chairman, we do not have a report this evening, but our next meeting will be Monday evening, December the 15th, right here in this room.
Thank you. Item K13, Health and Education Committee, Chairman Phil Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. As Commissioner P. said, our next meeting will be in these chambers, 5:30 p.m., joint meeting with Budget. And Commissioner Oliver, you had requested that the SharePoint be uploaded with information that came off the agenda. I haven't double-checked the SharePoint, but we will get that to you. 2 amendments from the school board, and they had their meeting tonight, so I'm sure we'll get those from Brian. And the other item will be the rezoning presentation, and I'll see if the Board of Education can upload that as well.
Thank you, Chairman Dodd.
I did talk to the school board superintendent yesterday and Brian Runyon tonight. They had committed as soon as their board passed and stuff, they would send that to me so that I could upload it to SharePoint. We had to go ahead and get the agenda out last night, but their board was supposed to vote on that stuff tonight. So it may be tomorrow morning or sometime tomorrow before that gets uploaded, once they send it to me.
K14, Property Management Committee, Chairman Alan McAdoo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no report tonight. Our next meeting will be December the 18th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you, Chairman. Item K15, Public Works and Planning Committee, Chairman Anthony Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, we do not have a report tonight, but our next meeting will be January 6th in this chamber at 5:30.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. Item K16, Steering Legislative and Governmental Committee, Chairman Craig Harris.
Commissioners, we have a resolution concerning the Jackson Law. When Commissioner Piercy brought this to me, I was overwhelmingly supportive of this. I believe that authority within the local government is exactly the way it should be. We should not have to have things in our county be decided or put upon us by another entity. So Commissioner Piercy asked that we have a resolution, and I'll read this. And unfortunately, I apologize, but it's 4 pages. Yes. Yeah.
Chairman Harris, would you want me just to do a brief synopsis of it? Would that help?
Hey, I'm all for it.
Okay, all right.
I'm all for it.
So essentially, it lays out and incites to the TCA regarding the Jackson Law, and also mentions the Solid Waste Central Regional Planning Board. And in the end, it states that this commission opposes any legislation by the General Assembly that would alter, restrict, modify, or otherwise take away any authority that local governments, including cities and this county, have to make decisions regarding landfills or the expansions of them. And then it also opposes any legislation that takes the authority to do the same thing away from the Central Regional Board that this commission supports. That's what it does. And it requests that the county clerk send it to our delegation.
So moved.
Any questions or discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver.
Kind of going at the same time, right? My question is, what legislators are in support of repealing this Jackson Law?
Right now, there's a bill that is being brought before state legislators right now. It's not a law, but they are proposing it.
Right.
And it's some of the bigger corporations that are trying to lobby our state reps and trying to get state control of the Jackson Law, repeal the Jackson Law so that they can have control, which would be they could put a landfill here and we would have no say.
I understand that. Which legislators are supporting the repeal of this Jackson Law? Whose names are attached to floating this around?
You talking about like our delegation? I don't know.
Or in general?
I don't know of any delegation, but I know there's a few not senators, but a few representatives that are. But as far as me giving you names, I couldn't do that. We're simply saying.
I understand what we're saying.
Okay.
I'm trying to find out which legislators are pushing for this. And do they have landfills in their areas that they represent? So I'm just trying to get information.
Sure.
And we don't have that information. Is that what you're saying?
Commissioner Piercy, you want to step in?
This information is being driven by the Special Task Force Committee that was put in place to study the needs of landfills across the state of Tennessee. It's 5 or 6 members on the committee. Senator Shane Reeves is the chairperson of that committee. A comment from this committee is what started this action for this resolution. One of the committee members made the comment on camera, it's taped and everything. Sometimes a county has to get something they don't want to realize that they needed it further on down the road. And that's just not my type of rational thinking. That's the reason I started this. This is to protect our whole county.
And so if you could let me know where I could find that, I'd appreciate it.
Should be able to go to, well, it's on the.
Because my thing is, what's the resolution really going to do? You want to get citizens engaged. You want to know who these legislators are so citizens can email them, call them, whatever the case may be, whether they're for or against this as it relates to our county in general. So that's why I'm asking for names, so that we can make a concerted effort to make our, I guess, opinions known.
Okay, what I will do is I will get with the lobbyist, our county lobbyist, and I'll get you some people that are pushing this bill, that are trying to get support for this bill. I think what Commissioner Piercy is and what I'm trying to work with him on also, we're just trying to show a united front. We're trying to show that we're not going to do this, we're not for this, we don't want anybody telling us what to do. So that's where we're at. Now, if you want to know specifics and certain lobbyists, I can get you the lobbyists that are supporting this, and I can get you names. Like I said, it's not a bill right now, Commissioner Oliver, so I don't know how many people will say they jump on it. You know how politics is, but I will definitely get with the lobbyists, and I'll get you that information.
One more comment before we vote on this, if I could.
Commissioner Piercy.
This is a very important vote. It's very important that we stand as a 21-member vote to send this to our legislation. That way they know where we are. If we don't make this type of effort, or any type of effort, they'll think, well, Rutherford County just doesn't care. We'll just do whatever we need to. I'd love to see this go down with a 21-member for vote to the legislation, and then try to figure out how we could get the other 42 counties that have the Jackson law to do the same thing. Some of the other counties may not even know this is going on. You have to pay close attention to a lot of stuff to weed this stuff out of all the other information that's put out there. But I would encourage you to support this, Ms. Oliver, and let us get you the names and numbers. I can tell you who is furnishing the lobbyists, but it will be at a later date. And that's all I have to say, and I ask you to support this 100%. Thank you.
Just the one particular comment, if I could. We're not alone. The city of Murfreesboro is all over this as well. And let me just kind of go ahead and make a comment. There's been, a couple of years ago, we were looking at what to do long-term with our landfill. And there were several commissioners that were interested in maybe what the long-term cost would be, and listened to presentations by our current landfill owner. After those presentations were made, this commission stood unanimously against any expansion and voted to close that landfill and to begin to operate a process where we would handle our own garbage. That happened when we started the transfer station. Since then, and even including that time, this commission has stood in unanimous response to any expansion or any re-permitting of any landfill in Rutherford County. And I think it is important that we stand unanimously with not only as a commission, but also with the city of Murfreesboro, who has annexed that landfill. So they are on top of this and will support anything that we're trying to do, and we're trying to support anything that they're willing to go to bat for. So the last couple of years have been kind of interesting. We are moving forward with what the future will look like in Rutherford County as we handle our own garbage and landfill. And this is an attempt for a county, such as Rutherford County, or a city, a municipality like Murfreesboro, to, in essence, it's what we call in football terminology an end run, to get around us having the opportunity to make a decision that affects us and us alone. So the Jackson Law protects our input into how we make decisions within this county. So it's important, and Commissioner Piercy said that exactly right. Commissioner Harris said that exactly right. Any other questions? I see Commissioner Harris has brought up his little pad, so with that, we're going to be on the board. If you would, Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, Commissioners, next, I had called Cody York, and we all know we're going through a lot of stuff with the tax assessor. People are concerned. A lot of people, are calling us. I got a lot of phone calls. And what I did was I asked Cody, can we put on our county site where someone could come in, put their address in, and see if they are part of the Comptroller's review? So we have that data, and we can do this. I'm going to have Cody come and explain it to you. It's really simple. It's not, you put your address in there, it'll tell you if you was part of the ones that got reviewed, and it'll tell you what. It'll say square footage or say building or something like that. It doesn't go in detail at all, but it is data that they gave us. So I'm just trying to get that out and to our citizens, because a lot of them are calling us and I don't have that information. So Cody, come on up.
Without exception, I'll recognize Cody York.
I make a motion to suspend the rules.
No need.
Gotcha. Take it.
Yes, so the request from Chairman Harris was basically to take that information that I believe that everybody in the County Commission received. It's a simple spreadsheet that has addresses on it and whether or not that property was identified as possibly being an error. And then it has kind of three rough categories of what the error could be. Two were associated with square footage, and then the last was whether the proration was correct. So when Chairman Harris said, hey, is there a way we could present this to the public so that people could know? Basically the easiest way to do that would be to put it on our website, make it searchable by both name of the current property owner or address, and it would just tell you, hey, you were identified, this property was identified as a property that could possibly be in error, and then would direct people, link to the property assessor's page so that they can go and take a look at it. That's pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Is there an address, a website address or anything?
Oh, it's not live yet. Waiting on a vote from you guys, but it would be. It would probably be in the news section to start with, which would put it on the front page, so it'd be easy to find, and then we would have a link to it from the page.
Questions? Commissioner P.
I just wanted to make a comment about this, and as you said, it's not live yet. I've been getting so many emails about this, and not necessarily conflicting emails, but so much I asked Michael to reach out to the department and to see if we were actually in compliance. Now, the property assessor has met the deadline that was set forth. However, they have not had a chance to go back and ascertain whether all those corrections that they made were actually correct. So they're in the process of going back through these. So, depending on when you go online, they may not have completed the update to recheck. Basically, it's a check and a recheck. I'm gonna ask.
No, that's close. Just to clarify there. So the property assessor has gotten all of the data entered into the system that the Comptroller requested that they enter and correct. Now the Comptroller is in their final phase of their oversight that they have done under the State Board of Equalization's order, and it's a quality control phase, simply ensuring that the data that has been entered by the property assessor was in fact entered correctly. Okay, so they're not reviewing all of the different parcels all over again. It's just ensuring that the data that they've already told the property assessor to enter was in fact entered correctly.
The other thing I want to add is what they told us is they also were looking to make sure no other changes outside of the corrections they wanted to make were made. So just to clarify too, that they're going in part of the when they had to do this, they had to open up access to make these changes that were in like a non-reappraisal year. And so they're also trying to do their best to verify that there were no other changes made to properties that were not part of their listing. And so they're also working through that piece as well. I just wanted to.
And there's not a timeline yet for when they're going to be completed, but the commission should be happy to know that they are not charging us for this last part. So do not expect another bill from the state.
The last comment I wanted to make on this is that even if you're not able to find out if your property was correct at that time, but anybody that disputes or thinks there's a problem with their assessment can go to the Board of Equalization, and that will determine, that board will determine whether it's correct or not. If you do not agree with that, you can appeal to the state.
Chairman, could I ask
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question?
Yes, Commissioner Irvin.
Thank you. Okay, so there was the comptroller's list. There were adjustments, corrections made by the assessor. And then, is that the list? And then now the comptroller is again checking the adjustments back to the original list, or was there, I'm trying to figure out exactly which moment in time is going to be posted.
Yeah, so do you remember receiving an email that attached to it the comptroller data that was a large spreadsheet, and it went through all the parcels that they reviewed? It's that data from their initial review that identified the parcels that possibly had an error or that the comptroller believed were an error.
So it will not, so the list, the online list will not include the changes that the comptroller has tentatively agreed to that were made by the assessor. And then, okay, because I'm just trying to piece out where we are in time. Okay, because there were some that were made, okay, as I understand it, and some that the assessor, the comptroller has agreed to. And then now the comptroller is again going back and checking against which list, I guess is what I'm trying to figure out also. In other words, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page in terms of what Cody's putting on this list. And if that's what it is, then we just have to put some kind of note in there, that if there may be changes made by the assessor that may or may not have been agreed to by the comptroller, and now the comptroller is now going to go back and check those, and he's also checking going back to make sure that the original list was correctly entered as well. So it gets kind of mind-numbing here, and I'm trying to figure out the simplest way to do that, to explain that.
So I think the best way to answer that question would be that this is that original list, and it doesn't have assessed value or square footage, or it doesn't have any of the specific data, because the comptroller simply identified, we believe these properties have errors. And then it only gave the type of error. So it said it's square footage or proration. So this list won't have appraised value, it won't have square foot of the properties. It simply has the comptroller identified this property as possibly being in error.
I understand that now. Thank you.
Other questions?
Question.
Commissioner Oliver, let me
So
get
if it's-
Commissioner James first.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. Go ahead.
Commissioner James.
I was just wanting for understanding, the website that you're proposing is only so that people can find out if they were somehow caught up in all this drama.
They're part of the
Now,
8,000 parcels.
Do we not, at some point, I kind of would have, I assumed, and I feel bad for assuming, that would we not have to send some kind of notification mailer or something to the individuals that were wrapped up in this, kind of like in a data breach or anything?
The answer to that is no.
So it's just everybody's on their own?
I think the intent of this is to allow transparency to the public to know that their parcel was identified by the comptroller as maybe having an issue, but there's no statutory or legal requirement that a particular mailer or notice be provided to the property owner.
Commissioner Oliver.
Yes, my question was kind of similar to Commissioner James, but if this is not really giving them any information, just whether or not they were on the list, basically, is what you're saying.
No, it does give some information. It'll say, for instance, if it's square foot, it would have square foot. And it building, additional building.
And they
it'll
still have to
that.
go back to the Board of Equalization to figure out if something's going on.
Yes,
So then why are we doing this?
because
If they
people want to know.
can just go to the Board of Equalization in the first place?
because people want to know if their property was being assessed by the comptroller, and they'd like to know why the comptroller flagged it. And so we're just simply, we have the data, all we're doing is giving the data out, showing transparency and helping people. All they gotta do is send their address in there and they'll tell you, yes, you were one of the 8,000 parcels that was,
Can they get that information from the assessor's office?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so.
No,
I mean, that's what the comptroller says standing right there. Contact the assessor.
comptroller, we're getting this data from the comptroller.
Sure, I understand that.
So what
But he
I-
said, contact the assessor right after he told you not to trust the assessor. So I'm just curious if citizens can get the information from the assessor's office, as was stated by the comptroller.
They should be able to, yes.
That's my question. And then my final question is, how much is this going to cost to do this?
We would do this with, I mean, it's really relatively trivial. We could have it done tomorrow. It just takes a couple hours. We have staff. There's really no additional cost.
Thank you.
I can understand some confusion because as I've heard this, I've got a little bit confused too, but this is the way I understand it. Let me try to make it as simple as I know how. The comptroller came in, did an evaluation of a number of parcels. I believe there were over 8,000 of those, charged our property assessor with making the correction to all of those 8,000s, gave them a time limit. The tax assessor has done that. Now the comptroller is in the process of evaluating what the tax assessor has done to those products. They're still in the process of doing that. That's where we are. This, if we pass a motion tonight to support this, it could go up as early as next week, first of the week. So those people could go and find out if their property is on that list. They probably already have that information, but if they don't, they can find out if that property's on the list and how it was assessed and how it's been reassessed.
Mr. Chair, do we have a motion?
I don't know.
We don't.
I don't think so.
I make a motion to approve this.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We're still open for discussion.
Yeah, you can just say aye.
I'm going to do a voice vote just because I can. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Nay. Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
May I have a second? I was not going to say anything, but I feel compelled. To the young people in the back that come up here, I want to tell you that we appreciate that you're carrying what you want to do and what you say. Now, we're not cowards. None of us are cowards. So I want to give you a civil course. We cannot repeal 287G. We cannot approve 287G. We are a county commission, and what we can and can't do with the sheriff's department is simple. We approve their budget or we don't approve their budget. And that's the same for schools. Now, to the young man that keeps throwing this sign at me about book bans, yes, my committee does oversee the library board. We do appoint people to that board. And I will look into whatever you're saying, and we'll see what we can do on that. But as far as cowards, we're not cowards. Not at all. We care. We care about our county. We run. We take so much stuff. And I apologize to you, Commissioner, but I feel compelled to say something. But we are, basically think of us as a checkbook. And that's what a county commission is. We approve budgets and we make sure that we have finances. We have a AAA rating. That means we're really good at it. So, thank you.
Other business. We have a purchasing committee request. I'm sorry.
Wasn't
Commissioner
quite
Piercy.
done with Mr. Harris.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Piercy?
Yes. First thing, I want to commend the three commissioners that's sitting here tonight that sit on the Ethics Committee. I thought you done an excellent job under the conditions you were working in. Plus, Mr. Beatty, and the lady, I can't recall the lady,
Medlin, Joanne Medlin.
Joanna Medlin. I watched the whole thing today. I thought you done an excellent job. But I did see something that could cause a problem down the road. And I want to share that with you and offer maybe a suggestion to help this situation. The way I saw it, there were 5 voting members on that committee. Is that correct? Okay. Is that all of the committee members, 5? It is a very serious committee. If someone comes up to that podium to defend themselves or file a complaint, it's very serious business. These meetings are advertised, and you have to supposedly have them on the advertised date and time. If one of y'all happens to be ill, you can't show up, you have a family issue with health, someone has passed away in your family, or you may be out of town, or maybe you have some type of other conflict that might arise, I would like to see it started at your committee, Chairman Harris, and look into adding 2 alternate members to that committee where if any of this happens to happen, and we're going to see more of this ethics committee as this county grows and grows and grows. There's more coming, there's no doubt. Because it's a changing world out there, if y'all hadn't noticed. Check into this about adding 2 members if possible, so it could be relieved if someone couldn't get there, or maybe they might have run over the guy's mailboxes that's come up front. You know, it would give you an opportunity to bow out. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I would be more than glad to get with Nick and see about adding 2 alternates to that spot. My question to you, though, is do you want it to continue to be a mayor appointed, or would you like it to be a committee appointed? Because a lot of conflicts are based on if a mayor goes through that situation.
We'll look at the whole.
That would be a commission decision.
Okay.
Whichever way.
We'll look at the whole makeup of that committee, how it's governed, and if there are restrictions and any type of an appointment that may be dictated to us by state law. So we'll look at that whole process.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Oliver.
as a follow-up to Chairman Harris's comments relative to the persons that came for public comment, it was brought to my attention that there were people taking pictures of them. And so they are truly feeling threatened for coming forth saying what they have said, because people have been taking pictures. Specifically tonight, there was a gentleman taking pictures of them. So when you talk about the commission possibly feeling fearful at these meetings, citizens that are brave enough to come forth to speak their truth are being targeted, or pictures taken of them. For example, the young lady didn't want to give her address. So those are real things happening right here in Rutherford County.
Realize that. You do know and realize that they're being televised, recorded and televised.
Right.
Okay.
But that's different from someone saying, specifically trying to take their picture, because that can be an intimidating factor, someone trying to intimidate them.
Thank you for your point.
Whether you agree or not.
Okay. Back to, once again, other business. We're going to get into a purchasing committee request. Chairman of the purchasing committee is Mayor Carr. He is ill tonight and cannot be here. So the vice chairman, Robert P., will kind of take us through that as a backup to our legal counsel. So I'm going to turn this over to Nick and let him explain what this is. Sure. How's that, Robert?
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the commission will recall, last month it asked the purchasing committee to issue an RFP for a third-party vendor to do an independent assessment and valuation of some sort of number of parcels within the county. Recall that the Comptroller only reviewed about approximately 8,000 parcels and found errors. And so the idea was, well, do we need to get a third party in here to examine more parcels to see if there are other properties that are being affected? That was at the behest or recommendation of the Comptroller when he gave you his presentation a number of months ago. And so that's where we were last month. Fast forward until about earlier this week, late last week, information was received by the Comptroller that they, as I previously explained, were in their final phase of oversight, checking to make sure that the property assessor that the entries that he had made for their corrections were in fact done correctly. One of the questions that we asked the Comptroller was, do they know at this time whether the changes, or rather the errors, are material to the county in terms of a net loss or net gain in tax revenue? And that kind of matters because while the problems may be systemic and may reach farther than the 8,000 parcels that were reviewed, if in the end the net loss or net gain to the county in terms of the tax revenue is not material, then one may question whether further inquiry by a third party is necessary. You recall that the state's bill to us for their review of 8,000 parcels was in the ballpark of $230,000. So you can imagine if we're going to expand that scope and do, say, 10%, 25% or more of the other parcels, what that will cost. It will be fairly expensive, I imagine. So when that information was provided to the Purchasing Committee earlier this week, the Purchasing Committee still wanted to move forward with crafting an RFP and has asked that myself, in conjunction with the County Finance Department and the County Mayor's Office, begin that process. But a member on that committee wanted to make sure that the Commission was still okay with moving forward with an RFP, considering that you all had not received the information that I just relayed to you, because I just learned of it this week. So that's the purpose of bringing this back to this body now, is that the Purchasing Committee is ready to move forward with the RFP, but wants to make sure with this new information that the Commission is okay with that. There is not a timeline on when we will get a response from the Comptroller on their opinion of whether these errors are quote-unquote material to the county's tax revenue. It could be a month, it could be 2 months, I don't know. So the idea was to at least get the ball rolling on an RFP. That's an RFP, for those that don't know. It's a bid solicitation that is sent out to particular vendors. It does not obligate the county to select a vendor. All it does is it says we're going to put out the bid, we're going to receive the bids from potential bidders, and at that time we can re-examine it and we can drop the RFP at that time. If after a month or two the Comptroller comes back and says, well, this only resulted in X amount of dollars, the Purchasing Committee can decide that, well, yeah, we did an RFP, but we no longer are interested in seeking a third-party vendor, and so we're just going to quit the process. But at least with starting now, you're not behind the 8 ball. That's what was discussed on Tuesday's Purchasing Committee meeting. You can at least get the RFP out there and get the bids in to see what this is going to cost and what scope it's going to be and how expensive it could be.
Questions?
So if the Commission, if they want to make a motion to approve what the Purchasing Committee would like to do here, which is move forward with the RFP, all you have to do is make a motion to that effect. If you don't want to do that and you want to ask the Purchasing Committee to reconsider this or hold off on this until we get more information from the Comptroller in the coming month or two, that's another option for this body.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner P.
Just from clarification from my end of this, when we looked at this in purchasing, basically what we tried to do was to bring this to you so you put your opinion in, of course, which we won't, but we will not act on these. We would, if we put this RFP out and we get the information, we can decide not to act on it, or we can decide we'll have it there if we need it. We may not need it. That's what we're hoping. So what we're trying to do is get ahead of the game by having it waiting there in case it is needed. So if you vote for this, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go out and spend X number of dollars to do 10% or 25 or even 1% of all the county properties. This just gives us a knowledge of what it would cost us to do different parcels.
Thank you. Other questions? Do I have a motion?
Second.
Ready? Okay. Ready for a vote? We're going to just, we're not going to call the roll. We're just going to do a voice vote. So all those in favor of this motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Our next full commission meeting will be on January the 15th at 6 p.m. And I'll also remind you, we have calendared at this point in time a special call commission meeting on Thursday, January the 22nd, to conduct public hearings on Plan Rutherford. So you might want to calendar that. I think also on your desk, you have a full list of commission meetings and for all of 2026. I'll go ahead and put a caveat to that, is that they are solid through August. And what happens after August will be up to whoever's sitting in your seat and my seat come next September 1st. But they are calendared for 2026. Shout outs. Commissioner James.
I wanted to point out the Saturday, I believe it was Saturday, after Thanksgiving, I had been invited to a Christmas tree lighting out in Fosterville. And that was very, very heartwarming, very, very delightful to see and be part of. So I wanted to let Commissioner Beverly to know to hang on to that gem out there. That is what those of us who grew up here in Rutherford County, that community was very much like it was back when my area became overgrown, overdeveloped. So hang on to that area. It's a great resource, and they're a great community out there. So I wanted to thank them for inviting me out there for that night.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliver.
Yes, I like to say Merry Christmas, and I have cupcakes and cookies in room 205.
All right. Woohoo. Anything else?
I've got one, Mr. Chair. Go ahead.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In my district this morning, Chipotle opened up. That's right on 7 Oaks and Almoville Road. I've never eaten at Chipotle before today. And I'll tell you, it was a very good meal, and the staff there is just amazing. And for the first day, you didn't see any opening jitters or anything. They were on spot. So just a shout out to them. If you have a chance and you're in Smyrna, Almoville Road and 7 Oaks, go to Chipotle. Everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Anything else?
I've got one, Mr. Chair.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Commissioner Beverly.
First off, I'm hosting Christmas in Christiana this Saturday. It is free to come get pictures with Santa Claus, decorate cookies. I might even be in a tacky sweater. But that is free tickets at christmasinchristiana.com. Just grab tickets and come on out and bring the kids and let them enjoy. Secondly, I want to recognize 3 of our deputies, along with a bystander, Michael Lessery, and I believe it was Deputy Anna Olson, Deputy Brian Tyree, and Deputy Christopher Young. Earlier this month, there was a vehicle accident in Rutherford County. The man was able to get out of the vehicle but collapsed right next to it, and the vehicle caught on fire. Without that bystander and those 3 deputies, that man would not have lived. Wow. He is alive because of them, and we're grateful that they were there. So kudos to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and their response. They saved a life that day. We want to thank them for that.
Anything else? Anyone else? Let me close this out by wishing you, commissioners, and your families a very, very Merry Christmas this year, and a Happy New Year, by the way. I just wanted to say that even though there are disagreements that we have from time to time, civility is most important, and we maintain that, and we always have, and I appreciate your input one way or the other continuously. This season, to me, stands for peace on earth, and the Prince of Peace supports that. And I pray for peace, and I pray for your health and your well-being. With that, we are adjourned.